You have just graduated and now it's time for job search. And this brings a lot of emotions. Like you think, okay, should I be excited about the next step? Do I feel anxious? Of course, especially if you are an international student. I often get a lot of those messages when I do my scholarship videos. If you haven't seen any of the scholarship videos, they are there on my wall on this page. So people ask, okay, what will I then do after I finish my first degree, after I finish my master's and I'm in a foreign land? And the honest truth is, you don't know. You will only find out when you finish. That's why we have to take life one step at a time. So, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Lina Kabanya, and as I have promised that this channel is about sharing my life journey, my life experiences, those that I see that can help someone in some way. So I have shared how I got here in Belgium through the Vlera's scholarship. I share step by step on how to apply for the Vlera scholarship in about 2 videos that are on my page. So if you're interested, you can go through them if you are interested in doing your master's here, or if you know someone who is interested. Yeah. So in this video, I'm going to talk about the job process, the job searching phase, based on my experience. I'm going to do this series, or the job search diaries as I'm going to call it, in 3 parts. So I'm going to do the part 1. It's going to involve my emotions, how I felt, and the steps that I took, what exactly I did in every part of the phases. From part 1, I think I'll do 3 parts for us to really understand, and we can also share our experiences, our emotions. I know this phase is really a phase that is filled with so much uncertainty and so much emotions. Job search in its entirety is just a bit stressful and overwhelming and uncertain. It tests your patience, it tests your faith, it makes you think, well, do I deserve this? Why did I even go on this path? Why did I not start a business? Why did I even do this program? Was it a right program that I chose? It makes you question a lot of things in your life. Am I worth it? Imposter syndrome starts to kick in. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe my CV is not good enough. And I just want you to know that a lot of people are going through this. We have gone through this so many times after a first degree, so many times, like, what is the next step? So this is what I'm going to talk about in this video, and this is part 1. Part 1, I'll talk about the general preparation of job search. So stay tuned and let's get into it. Okay, so the first thing, you're going to research on your work search visa, the search year visa, or whatever it is called in the country that you are in. Usually, if you are an international student and you are studying specifically in Europe, but I'm sure this also applies even in the US, after you finish studying, you usually get a year or 18 months or 2 years or so to apply a visa, where if you apply for it, you get an extra year or 2 to apply for a job. So you really have to start doing research on this particular job visa in time. So to say, what is it that you need, and where can you get all the information? Most of the times you will need a blocked account. So specifically for Belgium, you're going to need a blocked account with like 860 euro per month times 12 months. So it's something like 9,000 euros. Or you need someone who will guarantee you. So you generally need everything that you needed when you first applied for your visa to come to Belgium. I'm not sure if it's the same with other countries. So yes, you have to go on the website of that country and see what exactly you need. And you need to do this in time. If you have already graduated, or if you're graduating soon, I'm sure this is something that you're already looking into. If not, please do start looking into it. Okay, and you must know that sometimes, depending on the processing times, it can take time for you to have your work search visa. So specifically for me, in my case, it took so much time, and they gave me the annex. And the problem with the annex is sometimes some employers do not understand the annex. They really want to see the ID card, the visa itself. So that can also be a hindrance. So really make sure you do it in time, you have your blocked account and everything, and you try to process your papers as quickly as possible. So that is the first and most important thing if you want to look for a job and if you want to extend your stay. But of course, some people can argue and say there are other ways that you can extend your stay without having to apply for a search year visa. And this can include applying for another course. I hope I'm clear in my speaking because there are the sounds that are coming from somewhere and I'm not using a mic. It's like a plane that is passing by. Okay, it's gone. So you can also apply for another year as a student and do another course, an advanced master or something like that, if you're willing to, go back and being really a student. So that is another route you can also take, because some people really do argue that getting a search year does not really guarantee you getting a job, which is true. But anyway, life is a risk. Everything's about risking and believing. You can try to apply for a search year and just be safe that you are open to working. Because what if you get a job and you're on a student visa? Then that means you are limited. But yeah, you can try either of the two routes. I did the work search route, so it's the one that I'll be mostly talking about. Okay, so the other thing, after you do your research on your work search and everything, you want to set your goals. You want to be specific, because I know that when you are studying, you are doing broad courses. You do a lot of courses, so each course can turn out into a job, if you know what I mean, a certain role. So for example, I did sustainable development, and sustainable development is very broad. Even though my first degree was in environmental science, it was still broad. So that means I had to specify to say, okay, where do I want to apply my sustainability? Which field do I want to work in? Do I want to get in first? Do I want to get into policy? Do I want to get into corporate? Do I want to get into an NGO? Do I want to get into an academic setting? That is like the first phase, okay? And then next I say, okay, which particular industry do I want to be working with? Is it going to be strictly environment? Is it strictly social? And is it going to be, if I can continue to narrow it down? So this is something that I did in the first phases. I was just sitting down and doing these things. And then most importantly, because I'm a Jesus girl, prayer was also an important weapon that I used during this phase. You write down your goals and then you pray about it, for guidance. And it also helps you throughout the journey to keep your faith strong and possibly to stay away from depression and overthinking. When you're constantly reading scriptures, reciting them, remembering who you are in the Lord, it strengthens you mentally as well, and it keeps you going, it keeps you pushing, and you keep believing. So yes, like I said, I'm going to be talking about everything that I did, what I went through, because I don't want to give all the glory to me in the end. I really want to say, grace was ahead of all this, in as much as I was also planning and preparing myself mentally, physically, socially, spiritually. I was also doing my best. And in the end, all the glory does go to God. This is not a sermon, but I'm just letting it out there. And so when you write down your goals, now you go on LinkedIn. On LinkedIn, you're going to first look at your profile. If you're someone who's constantly updating your profile, even if you're going to school and even if you're already at an old job, then good for you. You can skip this process. But if you're someone who says, oh, I'm at school right now, so my LinkedIn is what it is, or I'm already at a job, so my LinkedIn is what it is, then you need to go on your LinkedIn and you need to update everything. If you think it's very difficult, there are actually people these days who are offering this service to say they can look at the LinkedIn profile for you and they can update it according to what recruiters are looking for. So you make sure you put a good profile picture. You really expand what is it that you did in your previous experiences, in your previous education. You highlight it. If you took any courses online during your program, you highlight everything. And also what you're doing on LinkedIn is you're connecting with people in the field that you are in, and also in those areas that you specified that you want to work in. So NGOs, for example, in sustainability, what I was doing, if anyone has a, this is like first level, if anyone has a title that said sustainability officer or reporting officer or CSRD, because this is what I was looking into, I was just connecting with them, connect. And then the next thing you want to be doing is also interacting. You want to be interacting with their posts, you want to be commenting, adding your thoughts, reposting, to increase your visibility. You have to do all these things. And then the next thing you will do is to tell your friends and your network that you are open to work. Yes, you have to put the green banner. This also increases your visibility on LinkedIn, and also even by word of mouth. Just say, oh hey, I just finished my master's degree, I just graduated, and now I'm looking for a job. So what this does is it increases the jobs that are coming to you. It's overwhelming, I know, and sometimes it's like, oh my god, everyone is gonna know I'm looking for a job. But well, in this economy that we are in, and if you are taking the studying route and you're not starting a business, when you finish studying, the next thing you want, of course, is a job and experience, and it goes on like that. So you tell your friends that I'm looking for a job. They can always be sending you jobs. This really helped for me. I have a special friend, I'll shout out to her, Brunette. She always used to send me jobs. Of course, several other friends used to do this, but almost on a daily basis, if she finds something that is in my field that she thinks will be interesting for me, she would send it on my LinkedIn and on my WhatsApp. And this was really helpful because it increases your number of applications. I'm going to talk about this in part 2, the applications and the interview process, and how rigorous it was, how difficult and emotionally draining sometimes it was. So yeah, you tell your friends, your networks, it does help, even your colleagues, and as you're connecting, as you're networking, do all this. And then the last thing is you're attending workshops and conferences. So especially here in Belgium, I know there are websites that you can use to actually see workshops that are ongoing within your field, specifically for sustainability, maybe because this is like a topic that is a topic of the century, or it is trending. There are always workshops that are being held physically or even online webinars. You can always join this, and not only for networking, like to say, oh, I'm looking for a job, but sometimes it keeps you up to date with what's happening. The sustainability environment is one that is always changing. The legal frameworks, they're coming up every time, and this already helps you to prepare for your interviews, for when you start applying. Okay, and then the next thing you will do, this is like the last one actually, is to now go onto your CVs and say, okay, what structure am I going to be using for my CV? And for my cover letter, what structure am I going to be doing? So you do a little bit of research first, okay, because CVs are constantly changing. At one point they wanted, like so many page CVs, and some prefer CVs with your face, like a picture and all that. What tools are you going to be using to make your CV? At one point it was nice to make it in Word, but now you can also make in Canva. You are now doing this research. You're not just going to say, okay, job search, I'm starting to make my CVs. You have to take a process to get yourself ready. And what you're also doing here, since you have completed your studying, you're no longer studying much, is to somehow make a timetable of when you're going to be studying for certain topics that you find, oh, these are really trending on LinkedIn in my field, because these are certain topics that you can be asked about in the event that you start applying and you start getting interviews. So lastly, what I'll just say is this is just part 1 of the series, and so these are the steps that I personally took. And if you are also starting to job search, or maybe you already started and maybe you skipped these parts, this can also help you to say, okay, you need to really sit down and set your goals of what kind of a job are you looking for. For me specifically, I was looking at a reporting officer. I wanted to be a sustainability reporting officer, and I also had the option to say, okay, if I find a PhD that is around sustainability in industry, I will also get into that. And I was also looking into sustainability consultancy, but my main interest was I really wanted to get into reporting and deeper into how sustainability links and connects with business. Oh my god, another play as I'm just coming to the end. Okay, it's gone. So that is what I was looking for, so I wrote that down, and I was eventually breaking it down, narrowing down, changing it. Sometimes it doesn't really go as planned, sometimes it does, but I'll share in part 2 and part 3 of the interview processes, the rejections, how I dealt with it, the feedback, and yeah, generally how it went on. And if you are also going through job search, you can comment in the comment box how it's going, or if you were going through it, if you have any pointers, anything that you say, okay, when I'm job searching, this is what I do, this is where I start, this is the beginning for me, you can also share. And until next time, thank you once again for watching my videos.